know, I had a good friend when I was a kid named Daniel. Danny, I think actually. Daniel. I don't want to give too much. And he kind of used to calmly say, "Oh, I'm a bastard," because he was born outside apparent official wedlock. This is not. This is kind of again strictly religious kind of thing. This is not what a bastard is outside of wedlock. If your parents both mutually and lovingly and willingly engage with each other, this is wedlock. You celebrate this wedlock if you want to celebrate this wedlock under the through the potential. You already are Christian. I'm not saying you already are Christian. You already have this Christian potential to wedlock, which is very cool. You know? Only confessions are safe with Jesus, and like things like Holy Union and Happy Holy Union are. In the intro of Songs of the Deaf, there's the love that needs to be designed by the Lord, and I didn't like it kind of because I thought it was a bit sarcastic because it's a really good thing. The love that needs to be designed by the Lord. So now, if you are honest and mutual in your engagements, you are very, very wedded or locked. You know, if I hang out with you, or if you hang out with people and smoke joints and drink, and you don't even have sex, you are wedlocked. You are, you know, I mean, you are together in situations which are not wedlock. That is what I'm saying. My friend is not. My friend was a lovely person. He was a very intelligent person, a wonderful son, and a very proficient person. This Daniel person that I'm talking about, great person. You know what I mean? He's probably beaten women off something. He's not this word bastard. But I don't even like to say it. I don't understand the etymology of this word really even. But I know this is when other things happen. So if you bastards are coveting your neighbour's wife, and you're sitting around coveting your neighbour's wife, and your neighbour's wife doesn't really know you're coveting her, and you do think I don't want to talk too much. I can't even tell you too much. They're doing it to me. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. I wouldn't want to know. But they form bastards. These are like bastards of perdition, as they are in the Bible. So this is unholy union or unsanctified union. So in circumstances of, per se, rape, I hate that word, you know, but in circumstances of rape, if a lady was, you know, violated in such horrible and detrimental manners and was impregnated on this occasion where it was not consenting or not consensual or conceding. And sadly here we have a case of bastardhood. This child was not sanctified by friends and family. They both know each other, they're all getting along, they're going to have a family together, they're going to have kids together, and it's all really happy. You don't need to be explicitly celebrated in Christianity by wedlock. That's just a wonderful opportunity Christians have, is to celebrate this potential of wedlock, of holy and happy wedlock. Yeah, my friend was not the bastard. You weren't the bastard at all. Your parents probably liked each other very much, and probably were drinking a lot, even on the first date. You know what I mean? Like, even on the first date, I can kind of prove of this on the first date. Very unlikely to get a hole in one. You know what I mean? It's very excuse me, that's not a pun, or it is, but it's very unlikely you'll get maybe this kind of first date, and you don't know the person too well. The more you know each other, and you know, it's very wedlocked. If you know each other very well and you're friends, you are already wedlocked. Ideas and laughing and drinking and hanging out together. This word bastard comes from stuff that is not permitted. So I used it in an occasion that is not even an occasion worthy of a naming of I don't know, say rape, but there's not a word. There's no word for this. I stopped caring for Latin when they had a word for, what is it? Oral linctus, for oral sex. Excuse me, there's no word. But I didn't like the way Latin had a word for this. It was fellatio. And then I looked up the etymology of fellatio and said fallacy. I was like, okay, I can like Latin again. Because I couldn't believe they had a word for it, but I was like, oh no, it's fallacy. Fellatio means fallacy. I was like, I can tolerate Latin. A little bit more, yeah. It's very clean, it's very dirty. But, so I wouldn't make that from a friend or anything. No one's calling me really a bastard. Some people do call me, one or two people, and frustration and anger. So it's events of uncommitted wedlock. So, you know what I mean? This is very important, and I'm going to say this is very important. Sex with strangers. Like, you know what I mean? How estranged are you? Somebody said to me once, like, sex with a stranger is the best sex ever. I've also read in the Bible the best Holocaust ever is like killing a young, intelligent child. You know, the best, worst, the most, I don't know. But sex with a stranger. Yeah, how strange, you know, how anonymous, and they probably practice anonymity with things like masks or like walls or separation and stuff. This is very intolerable, believe me, this is very intolerable. You know, like, you know, sometimes, mostly, but absolutely and kind of mostly. Well, I don't know, like if you're at a big like garden party in like Thailand or something, there's loads of people dancing around naked and people are frivolously drinking this weird mushroom wine and having sex. Like that's grand. But when you're trying to be anonymous, or you're trying to be, it really is when you're making the effort. Like, but I get this a lot about profanity, and it's like you couldn't offend, you know what I mean? You couldn't really offend, but the fact that you're trying to offend is kind of what's the problem, you know what I mean? It's not that you're doing something terrible, but that you're trying to do something. It's just kind of heartbreaking, anyway. So, yeah, bastard, there's no such thing as a bastard. It's a very rare occasion that this word occurs, or this thing. It has nothing to do about being born out of a parent or official Christian wedlock at all. You're not a bastard if you're not born outside official or Christian wedlock, because you are very Christian and wedlocked before. That's why you can smile and dance and go to parties and drink beer and hang out. This is all very wedlocked. Believe me, this is all very wedlocked. Most things, like, it was a celebration. Even confession is a celebration, and then people are eliciting your confessions. I've made videos on this already, and I've tried to demonstrate. It's very, okay, it's a function, and I mean, getting off track here, I was talking about illegitimate bonding, unholy unions. Basically, what I was talking about, coveting your neighbour's wife or something, or you're screwing with people you're not supposed to screw with. This is bastardhood, or like situations of enforced sexuality or slavery or enforced pregnancy, where you're not happy and willing to do the things. This is what bastardhood is. And you force people to maybe to make a baby or something, and they don't want to, particularly. That's what bastardhood means. So if your parents, once again, if you're just drunk, happy and loving, then you guys are very well loved. most very, it's about mutuality, you know. Right. What was I saying about I was gonna go off on a tangent. I'm glad I forgot about it. Probably I have no memory. It's like living in Memento, which is weird. You know, I was a kid and I thought, like, if we didn't have memory, we wouldn't, you know, hold grudges and stuff. We wouldn't, Northern Ireland, and you know, we wouldn't hold on to stuff if we didn't have memory. But now I live without memory myself, like in Memento, and you know, it's not great. It's not great. I can't stand my memories. So yeah, bastards. What was I gonna get into? Bastards and imposters. Yeah, I can't remember. I'll watch the video and maybe make a follow-on video about it. Believe me, if I have no memory, you'll have no memory. I remember that. Rivers contain me. Yes, be mutual, loving and honest in your relations. Blur had a good song. Like, boys can like girls and girls can like boys, girls and like girls like boys and boys can like girls. Just as long as it's someone you honestly and really like and maybe love and you'll let the children boys who like girls like boys like 1 or 2 like binary codes, and there's lots of that. Just as long as it's someone you honestly and sincerely like and mutually appreciate. And once you do that, you can do loads of stuff, you know. Can't wait to hook up. Meet up with Jesse Jensen or like Kendra or something like that. And have most celibate and mutual and understanding relations. Like Andy Warhol. So I was on bastard. Nobody's really a bastard. And even if you are the child of a rape, you can really, like, really, you know, you feel bad for this, but in a way you're still the same, don't you? That's the only, anyway, pathological, that's the only physical event that I can find of bastard. Excuse me, I don't like the word bastard, is if you are unconsensually raped or something. Otherwise, there's a lot of Semitism about star fucking and neighbour thefting and coveting your neighbour's wife or screwing with people's families. And that's all bastard. Is where schizophrenia comes from. So if somebody's coveting your mother, say, or your sister, anyone, and they're spiritually they know what they're doing, it's not sodom. They're spiritually coveting and screwing with them. They'll birth loads of bastards of perdition. Bastards, because your wife or your girlfriend or your niece didn't consent to these occasions. So that's where that word comes from, is when it's non-consensual. That's why I made the occasion of violation. But you might not know you're being screwed with. And avidly so, like there's businesses out there, you know what I mean? If you've got businesses for hackers, if you've got businesses for scam, businesses out there doing, you know, and all the ladies in Iran at the moment are ditching their hijabs. I like bijoux. Bijou. Something sounds better. Hijab, bijou. Might be backwards. Vajay. What does that mean? Vajay. Probably means father in Hebrew. I imagine Vajay. But they read it the other way around and it looked like Jew. And they're like, yeah, whatever. And that's where that word came from. Vajay.